By the way, the players are getting ready, actually.
Ooh, so maybe we should just try to figure that out for the next round then, rather. Because we can for now already keep on talking because it is going to
Yeah.
be very soon that we can start with our round 2 featured match. As we can already see that players are getting their playmats ready, and of course, with those old school events, with those Time Wizard events, there's always going to be some really neat mats as well, because those spell grounds from back in the day and all that kind of stuff, that is really something we love to see, I can tell you that for sure.
And also, we have a really nice name on the left side. It
Ooh.
is, you can't see that, but we can already see that it is Nico S. And I just assume that the German Open champion Nico Schlierkamp has returned
He has returned. He has returned with a really nice mat as well, then.
to, and he's trying to take over.
That is
Yeah.
looking nice. I'm really, I'm really excited to see what he's bringing because same as Joshua, I would assume that Nico spends so much time on playing and play testing current format. So where is he taking that time from to actually get in some Time Wizard 2010 testing? I couldn't tell, honestly.
I think you underestimate how much time players, top tier players like Nico Schlierkamp dedicate to the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, you're playing a lot as well right now, right?
Yeah, true. And I am not even playing 2010 format, to be honest.
Yeah.
As at least not that much. Of course, I'm playing it occasionally. But like, if you're playing a 200-player event where first place is like a PlayStation 5 and you have a competitive mindset, I would assume personally that you try to actually perform, that you're trying to win the whole thing, and therefore you're trying to playtest as much as you can. And it's tough when you're also playtesting for current format a lot right now because let's be honest, Cyberstorm Access format is around the corner, and a lot of people are already getting into that, already playtesting that a bunch. So it's really crazy. So maybe because I know Nico Schlierkamp is a master of deck building in current Yu-Gi-Oh! So maybe for a Time Wizard 2010 format, he's just like, yeah, I will trust somebody else with the deck building, and then I will be fine with piloting because I am just all around a pretty strong player, which he certainly is. Looks like players are shuffled up, and by the looks of it, we're going to have a Frog Monarch mirror match here in round number 2, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah,
That
that
is kind of funny. So there's the die roll. They're going for 2, and that looked like a 10 for Nico. Pretty big stuff there.
is a deck that I used to love to play, Frog Monarch. A
Same,
little bit
same.
later on with Ronin Totem as well. I mean, then the deck got crazy, right? That was absolute some tier 0 stuff. I mean, okay, frogs in general were the tier 0, not the monarchs in there. Especially with Fishbog Blaster, man. The deck was...
Ooh, but it's a set 1 pass from Nico. That's not the start he wanted, and Alexander may be able to do a whole lot more here. And it is going to be normal summon Swap Frog, which is, I can tell you, a way better start than set 1 pass, because he's instantly getting access to the frog part of his Frog Monarch deck.
Yeah, the deck usually takes 1 turn before it can get into like the really good plays. Sometimes you have Swap Frog plus a Treeborn Frog and a Monarch in hand, but that is also like a really heavy investment to just get one Monarch on board.
Absolutely, that's true. But I mean, what kind of card would there be to set? Like, probably Book of Moon would be a candidate. Maybe
Econ.
Enemy Controller, but would you really set Enemy Controller is the question? Is that a card you want to have set there?
I mean, you don't know what you're playing against.
Wow, Nico just instantly passed it back over to his opponent. That is crazy. So there comes Treeborn Frog effect in standby phase, returning to the field. And do we see the first Monarch of the day?
Oh, it really looks like it. And it's Chaos, the Shadow Monarch, the coolest Monarch and basically my favorite card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever. And it is used on 1 set card, which could be a Book of Moon, could be an enemy controller. What is it?
What is it? He is considering to chain it, and it looks like he's... Is he going... It was Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, and he decides not to chain it, and there is... On the attack of the Chaos, the Battle Fader, a card that people are still joking about nowadays. Like when you're going, I will attack for game, and your opponent's like, hey, here comes Battle Fader. And actually, in 2010 format, in Frog Monarch, it is a card that is being played, and the attack by Kaios was denied, and
Oh.
the own Kaios by Nico comes down, but there is another also powerful battle monster, and it is Gorse hitting the field here for Alexander. And let's be honest, that Gorse is a lot better than the Battle Fader was, because he now has 2 monsters, and they're both really, really, really big. And isn't that game on board already? That looks like game on board to me.
Yeah, with the 1000 damage that the Chaos got.
Oh, but
Another
of course,
Battle Fader.
not so fast. It is another Battle Fader for Nico.
I mean, Nico has to have something in hand that just makes sense, right? He did not open with any Frog engine. I mean, he has triple Treeborn, he has triple Swap, he has triple Substitute. So if you're not having any of those, then there must be some Monarchs and Battle Fader. However, Elemental Hero Stratus. So we are also using the hero engine in this deck. Malicious Edge.
Your
Now
favorite
I'm
card. Your favorite
equal
card.
flashbacks. Yes.
There is Malicious Edge. What is
And I
what is that innovation? Like they're all playing some interesting tech choices for this event. It seems like nobody did any innovation in Time Wizard 2010 format for like the last year, and now they all waited for this event to happen to bring out the interesting stuff.
I mean, I really like the Malicious Edge, the evil hero, because sometimes when you have only the Monarchs, your opponent has some monsters in defense position and you can't really deal damage. Some decks are generating tokens like nothing else, and if you summon the evil hero Malicious Edge and your opponent does not immediately have an answer to it, you just win by piercing damage. But Nico switched it up. The Malicious Hand and Edge, not even on the field, was not good enough here, and Alexander takes the win by having Swap Frog as a normal summon.
That is indeed true. What a quick one that was. Nico not able to establish anything, and therefore Alexander taking the first game here in the Frog Monarch mirror match. And you know what? In 2010, I wasn't playing very competitively yet, but I was like starting to get into the competitive scene. And I remember going to a tournament in Berlin, and back in the day I wasn't even living in Berlin. And I played versus Norman Wilde, who back in the day was like one of the biggest names we had in Germany, and people still remember him nowadays. And he
Even
was
what
on
about
that,
people who die?
yeah, he was on that Frog Monarch deck. He played that for a while, even after the 2010 format, to be honest.
I mean, Frog Monarchs are incredibly cool, and you can argue for it to be slightly easier than some other decks. I think, I don't want to say easier, okay, but it is more straightforward.
Oh, you think so? So Nico really made a comfort pick maybe for this event, playing a deck that is a little bit more straightforward?
I mean, just because a deck is more straightforward doesn't mean it's not as strong as the other decks.
Yeah. Also,
But
pretty interesting that chat is pointing out the interaction between Battle Fader and Kaios apparently is that Battle Fader banishes itself by its own effect when it gets targeted by the effect of Chaos, and therefore you would not get burned for 1000 because it is not leaving the field because of Chaos banishing it, and rather because of its own effect. I think it didn't matter here because it would have been game in any way, but that seems like it's correct to me, to be honest.
okay, I will have to read Battle Fader again because I think Battle Fader is not like Spirit Reaper. Okay, also Spirit Reaper wouldn't banish itself. I mean, this says banish it when it leaves the field, but it just leaves the field banished because of the Kaios effect. I think you should really get the 1000 burn damage. But if chat knows better, then maybe that's true.
Iccentric saying, I feel like even if I would be a judge nowadays, no way I could judge an Edison event. Honestly, true. Like the rulings are so different because the thing is, we have rulings for specific cards nowadays. And then, back in 2010, for the same card, there was a different ruling. And of course, we apply the rulings that applied back in the day. So even though a ruling would be correct today, it might not be correct and appropriate for the event back in the day. So it's like kind of funny.
Wait, Frog works with Monarch?
Wait, that works? Yep, that's how it worked back in the day, honestly. That was pretty popular for that time. Ooh, but Scaramanga says he just got that ruling from a premier judge that is still nowadays judging Time Wizard 2010 format events. So it is apparently the ruling that you will have to go with, and you have to accept, Leo.
I will accept it.
You have no choice, also.
I'm not happy with it, but I will accept it, and I will go by this ruling.
This is a ruling. Source, trust me, bro. Just trust me, bro. So, in a lot of mirror matches, actually, it is better to go second. And I'm curious, is that again just a pass by Nico? Looks like it, right? He has 6 cards in hand, draws for 7. So again, Nico just passed it over in his first turn, and now starts setting monsters.
It was passed back as well, right?
Yes. So, this is just a passing back and forth. This is quite funny.
Oh, this reminds me of my favorite card from Alexis Rhodes in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Double Passé. Okay, so now we have the Junk Synchron, which is a really iconic tuner. Basically, the first tuner that we have gotten from Yu-Gi-Oh!
What is going on here? Nico said Didi Crow, and now there's the Junk Synchron as a normal summon, but there comes Vanity's Fiend, and Vanity's Fiend here in the mirror match is pretty strong, because when there are no monsters on the board just yet, it might as well be a way to just never ever get Nico to his tribute summons.
Yeah, you will have to find an enemy controller to attack over it. After that, we are activating Reinforcement of the Army, and that could mean many things. Yep, another Junk Synchron. I love the inventions of those players in this tournament. It really looks like not only people gathering to have fun with their Edison Time Wizard decks, but people actually preparing for the tournament and trying to bring new stuff into the format, and I love that.
Same, absolutely same. And Nico also being on the Junk Synchron, as we see, because it was run over by the Vanity's Fiend, and now, right now, Nico is just, he keeps on setting monsters. And the sad thing is, we saw, there is the Dupe Frog, and Alexander maybe got a little bit greedy attacking first there with the Junk Synchron, because he was like, there was a Didi Crow, there was a Junk Synchron, there was a Treeborn Frog, I can run over all those monsters with my Junk Synchron, but not over the Dupe Frog. But then afterwards, we are running over it with Vanity's Fiend, searching ourselves for Treeborn Frog.
So now Alexander will have to pay a little bit of attention here, because, okay, I mean, he has one back row set, but if he tribute summons something over the Junk Synchron, then an enemy controller play could be crucial.
That is
but I mean,
true.
It's not happening.
So, also, Nuan Name in chat is asking why Junk Synchron. Leo, what would be your guess on the card that he's trying to summon out from his extra deck by using the Junk Synchron?
You can summon out Catastor if you summon back the Substitute.
Yeah, that would be my guess as well.
Really good. Oh, it's level 1, by the way. But you can go for Armory Arm. And that is also really good, because you deal a lot of damage. Alexander just wins here.
Do you see that hand by Nico, though? It's double Razor, Vanity's Fiend, and triple Chaos. Holy guacamole. What a hand there. Ayah. That is somewhat ridiculous, not gonna lie.